Hello, I'm Isabellen, and this is Isabellen Writes Stories for Adults. I should have, if I ever got stickers for the podcast, it would be just a woman with a microphone who has no idea what she's doing except talking. She just likes to talk. I've got a special guest. I've talked about this before. I want to do a poetry and more kind of writing based series over the summer. I stumbled into the kind of dirty Twitter poetry, some of it really beautiful and clean, and some of it really raunchy, about a year ago, and I just follow everybody. I tend to follow back, or if you follow me back, I'm going to follow you, but and sometimes they're just words that are just so well crafted that you want to see them every day. And I've been meeting people over there, and I'm gonna just have people come on. We'll talk about the words, and we'll do some reading. So that's what this episode is. And per my normal, I am so unprepared. The the launch of the podcast itself went on totally. I mean, I was 15 minutes late because it kept failing. I didn't have the music on, and then halfway through, I decided to invite another guest that I saw in the chat on. We just go with the flow here. And then I did a little reading here in this one as well with Big Daddy Fox 2, Tom Renard, but my special guest, whose arm I bent backwards. And I strong armed and begged and pleaded and pinched and poked and relentlessly reminded. Um, he goes by M, or he is a heart abandoned. To come on and read some of his words. I liked his words. There's specific reasons, and I'll talk about that. But yeah, I am so glad that he was brave and came on and put up with my antics. And I'm a little bit of a doofus. Yes, I am. So, but without any more, here you go. Here it is. A chat with a heart abandoned one from Twitter fame. I guess I'll have to read, which is terrible. And this isn't your fault. Podbean has updated some things, and I get little messages when they're updated, but I don't always go and check. I am a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person. Um, and so I don't check, and I'm checking my settings to see if that's it. I did an update with settings. Well, so if I don't check everything, then I don't know. I get in the app, and then the app has like, oh, look, I can change the theme. Only I'm the only one who can see that. So that doesn't do me any good. Admins, and yeah, how ridiculous. It is not working. I am so, so sorry. I feel really bad. I'm going to hit it again, like 10 more times. And then, and then I'll read. Do you want me to read one of your poems for you? I'd rather you did it. I kind of wanted to hear your voice. Don't tell anybody, but I was kind of curious to see if your voice went with all that whiskey. Um, I see, LOL. Yeah, I kind of want to see if your voice goes with all the whiskey. So I was hoping, that you could join and speak. And need proof that you actually have a voice. So you've got your phone set up. You've got is the phone not using the headset? Is it like, no, I don't like you? Is that what's happening? There might be something within the app controls that will connect it. At least you can hear me, right? I mean, it says connected. It says I'm connected. I'm not seeing you on any of the chat heads, though. And I don't know why. That is the oddest thing. I'm clicking on all of them. I'm like crazy clicking chat heads. Chat heads. They're the little, head with the plus next to it. Can you click on one of those? I can hear you. It says you're in too. Your mic just isn't working. Well, that sucks.
Can you hear me?
I'm so
Can you hear me
sorry to
now?
make you go through all this and get almost.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my god.
Is this you?
Yeah, it's me.
It's you. I can hear you.
I just unplugged the headset.
So there's going to be background then, but that's fine. It won't be so much when you're on. So you just have your phone now and nothing else?
Yeah.
Can you hear my feedback the way I can hear it?
What do you mean?
There's an echo when I talk. I hear myself twice, 3 times, 4 times.
No, I can't hear any kind of echo.
Okay, then that'll be fine. That'll work really well because when you read, then it won't bother you. So I want you to take a deep breath. You're here. I'm so sorry about all the rigmarole. I want to know when you started writing poetry, Mr. M. I'm very curious, the writing journey and how people get inspired and when they start, dabbling. I think we actually had this conversation, but now we have to share it with the world. So when and how have you always written poetry? I mean, what inspired you to come on Twitter and write poetry?
Oh. Well, as far as like just writing itself, I started in high school, my senior year. I had I was a horrible student, and I had an English teacher that I just gave complete hell the entire time. And so, to try to focus me, that she told me to write some poems for her. And so I struggled and battled with it, and I wrote her some pieces of crap, I'm sure, but she, she was very encouraging, and uh, I kind of enjoyed that battle of trying to, because back then, I thought everything had to rhyme. So
Mm-hmm.
so I, that whole battle with it was interesting to me. So I just kind of kept doing it after that, and I did it probably for maybe a couple of years, and then I just kind of stopped. And then when I came to Twitter, um, I really just kind of was just hanging out. But then I was really enjoying reading everybody else's work. And so I thought, well, why not? I'll throw in a couple of things, and if somebody likes it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And I've just kind of been doing it since then.
So about how long? A year, 6 months, 2 months,
Mm,
5 years?
I've only been on Twitter for um, maybe 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the poetry? You were hanging out and looking at. Were you surprised to find poetry on Twitter?
In a way, yeah, but then if you kind of look at Twitter, it really isn't that surprising because there's literally everything on Twitter if you just look at the right spot.
Yeah, but it's fine literature next to smut. It's
Like,
just
yeah, yeah, it's kind of a wonderful dichotomy that you have, you know, tits on one screen, and then the next one you've got this beautiful poem about love or something. I find that whole twist kind of interesting in itself.
It is. It is. There is a lot about the poetry. There might be an erotic side and a non-erotic side. I don't know. Maybe people just follow certain. I tend to follow everybody, so I'd never know if it's pictures or whatever that inspire, or if it's somebody I know. I'm a big follower backer. So, and the erotica community on Twitter, I've talked about it a lot, is really welcoming, and they share, and they. So most of my followers are usually connected somehow with them. And so I end up on dirty Twitter. again, but with poetry and beautiful stuff, because I'm, trying to hunt down and follow everybody. So I was surprised when I came. I've been on Twitter a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. 2019 is 2021. Yeah. So I was really shocked. I was surprised that men were writing poetry. I was surprised that women were writing so much. I was surprised it was all different kinds. The prompts that they have, and the whole different. I know there are DM rooms and all these things going on too, that happen of collaboration and just challenges. And I think that is a fascinating thing. If you like, Facebook has its little groups and people get in their groups. There's nothing like that I know of on Facebook, because for whatever reason, the part of it is the way it's set up. But I couldn't think of any other place where you could go on and, you could post something and I could say, hey, I want to do something with it.
Right. Yeah.
And you could collaborate, or you could just start writing with somebody, writing back and forth, or do something that I can't think of any other place where you would do that.
Yeah. I don't have any idea either. It was definitely just a happy accident that
That you found
found
it.
it. Yeah.
And then you were inspired to start writing again. Now, some of your poetry, you have, you were asked, what should I bring? And you said the whiskey poems. And how many whiskey poems do you, I mean, how, I like the whiskey poems because they remind me of country songs, and they have this very, I don't want to say cowboy, but they have a very kind of, it's between the country song and the blues song kind of
Right.
feel for me when I read them. And so I really enjoy them quite a bit. But how many of them do you have? Is it a theme you often write on, or?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I have no idea. I I kind of write something and then I completely forget about it. I I don't even like. I'll read it before I send it, but I won't ever read it again after that.
Oh,
Hardly
really?
ever. Yeah,
So you're
hardly.
reading poetry that you haven't read for a while. You just picked them out and.
Yeah. Like I just had to kind of thumb through my timeline to find stuff because I don't put it in a folder or something where I can go back and look at it or anything like that. It just kind of like what I'm going to write that day kind of depends on the circumstances of the day or what kind of mood I'm in. So, one day I might do a whiskey write or maybe two, but then at the same time, depending, like I'm only in a few rooms, so, and only two of them are prompt rooms. And I just started the second one, but I kind of use the prompt and sometimes I kind of say, well, okay, so I'll do one smutty one with that word, and then I'll do one dark one with that word. So so if I'm going to do that, then writing smutty stuff. I don't really have to be in a mood for. I can just kind of I can just kind of write that. That's really not a oh
That
I
just
really
happens. That one
yeah it's
unfolds.
yeah yeah it's not a oh I really need to think about this one. But but like the darker stuff and the whiskey stuff, I'll usually start listening to music that I know kind of get my head in that kind of frame of mind.
Oh, so it
And
is inspired by music.
oh yeah. There's some of the stuff that I write that like you could literally put it into the song that I'm listening to because the words basically exchange with the lyrics.
So you're writing
Sometimes,
based back and forth to what's already, there.
some, yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah,
That's very cool. I've done that a couple times. I tend to, yeah, that's interesting. Well, that's not true. I did the other day. Sometimes something is just really inspiring, and yeah, I'm messing with Twitter trying to post and share this out, and Twitter and my whole interface is a little bit different. So I'm like, I don't know what anything looks like. But so what music specifically? What music would you shared some with me? So share with the audience kind of what music really draws you and speaks to you. Would you consider it storyteller music? I mean, is it music that has a little bit more than your average WAP and pop beat?
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't even get me started on pop music. Um, yeah, I think so. Probably a year ago, I stumbled on to um, they're kind of like a subgenre in the country field, like Tyler Childers, and um, I, I, they're really good storytellers, and it's usually just them and the guitar, or it's them and they're using their foot to play a bass drum. It's really simple stuff on a lot of it, but the stories are just fantastic that they tell, and so I really kind of dove into that genre of music, and a lot of that stuff is kind of inspirational. It's kind of like my springboard for what inspires me to write something. But I also I have one specific song from um, I'm probably going to say his name wrong, but Ray Lamontagne, I think is his name. Um, there's one of his songs that I listen to, and I tend to like listen to the same song over and over and over for hours.
Yeah,
And
I do too to write.
yeah, yeah, and it really does kind of just stick in my head and makes me inspired to write something a lot of times.
Well, that's cool. I like that. And so it's the music. And are you tapping into the music, or you have a feeling and you are using the music to kind of launch you? Different people have. I've had massive, really long conversations about what inspires you. Why do you say you can't write one day and you can say you can write the other? So does that happen to you? Do you have times when you just can't write and you're not interested in it, or it's a mood thing and there's no words, or maybe there's too many words and you want to write, or how does that? Is it a conscious process, or is it just oh, I don't have anything to do and I'm kind of think I'm going to try this tonight?
Um, well, again, with the smutty stuff, that I just kind of I just kind of throw that off. Like I might think, oh, I might I might say, oh, in an elevator, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I'm running off with sex in an elevator kind of thing. If I'm about to write something like that, but
Mm-hmm.
if it's something that I want to have a little more thought process to, yeah, sometimes, like if my head's already in that area, sometimes like maybe two or three words or a phrase will pop up into my head, and if it clicks, then I have to like sit down right then and write it out, because if I don't, then I'll forget it and it'll never come back. So either I use the music to kind of get me in the mood, or I could just be working and a thought will pop into my head, and it's like, oh, crap, I need to this one this I like I can already in my head I can already hear other words forming to finish it out, or to lead up to it, or whatever it's
Oh,
going
there
to
you
do.
go.
But at the same token, I'm not one of those that like will sit down and fret over what I'm writing. Like, I don't spend more than 10 minutes writing anything. Maybe 15 if I feel like I might get something good out of it. But if I can't get it to come out in 10 minutes, I throw it away.
Have you ever done the writing back and forth, the call and response, where you write something and somebody comes and posts under yours, and then you write something else? And
No, I've never tried that. It sounds interesting.
it is, if you hit a groove, it can be so fun. It can be a ton of fun. I quite enjoy it. Some people will be like, oh, okay, that's not what I meant, but
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
or sometimes, or it doesn't always, but it that's another thing, is that collaborative. As long as you don't take somebody's work and post it as your own,
Right.
without permission, the collaborations that can happen just to play with words is fantastic, is a ton of fun. So yeah, and it stretches you. It can be, I did this incredible poetry slam once with a lot of people. There were so many threads. We were on, we had been given a body part, and it was, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's that little dent on at the base of your throat. We were given the medical name of it. And so we were supposed to be writing from that, the medical name, uh, some sensual poetry. And so we're going back and forth, and we're writing the poetry. And then somebody, I'm not very good at this. And, is kind of doing this sad poetry. I'm like, no, you can't. And it kind of rhymed and kind of didn't. And we're just pounding it. That thread was I think we had 5 writers just going back and forth. And it was very amusing. It was a little crazy. I wish I could get people to do it more often, but it is, yeah, it is kind of, you got to be in a mood sometimes. Some people, I don't have to be in a mood.
Yeah.
I could write poetry every day, and it probably end up being repetitive, but sometimes for me it's about the words and putting the words together in new ways, or the sounds, or trying to describe one little thing, one moment. So I was telling a friend that it's an exercise for me. It's not, and sometimes I spend way too much time exercising on poetry, not physically, but yeah.
Right.
So you just started writing, and you've kind of gone in. How are the DM rooms working for you? I have never been invited to. I probably could start one, but I've never been invited to a DM room. I don't have time now. So thank you so much, people. If you could just invite me and give me the honor of saying, no, I don't have time. But I've been on Twitter. I couldn't tell you how long. I don't know what vibe I give off. Am I scary? I am, aren't I? You can admit it. No, I'm terrified. I don't know what it is, but I've not ever been invited. So I don't. So what is that? How is that dynamic working for you?
Well, the first room that I got into recently works really well. They just, they just, we take turns putting the word out for the day, and ours isn't. The room really doesn't have a whole lot of pressure or any kind of. There's no competition between anybody in there. It's really supportive. So you just kind of take the word and leave and post stuff whenever you write something, and then everybody tries to keep caught up, and like everybody's poems if they're good, and retweet them if they need to, and all that stuff if they want. So that works out really well, I think. um, I was in a room over a year ago, and that one I wasn't as comfortable in. That one, it had a little bit more of a clicky kind of vibe to it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't stay in that one. I got out of that one pretty quick. But I like the rooms that I'm in right now because there's no pressure and there's no competition, and it's just incredibly good writers that blow my mind that I can just support,
Yeah. Retweet, share their stuff out, like everything. And yeah, that's kind of neat. And I like that. I like that supporting and just, there are different poets that have books or whatever. Nobody's ever going to make $1 million writing a poetry book. I don't even think you could be the poet laureate and you might get, a somewhat decent salary. I don't know what that pays, but I don't even think that, boosts anybody. I don't think Maya Angelou was a poet laureate, and she probably got money from movies, some of her books. So,
right, yeah.
Yeah, poetry writing, but it's still you can support each other and marvel at the skill. Like you said, there are so many. Yeah, I need to. I'm going to pimp you out. You need to tell people come on the show. Um,
Yeah.
I guess maybe people are okay. I'm going to listen to see who you're talking to, and then I'm talking to this person, and that person is getting really raunchy. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not all that. Go scroll up. There's more.
Right.
Because I really do. It's people's personal stories, and then just the story, the craft of writing. I I'm yeah, I enjoy the craft of writing quite a bit. And so seeing other people do interesting things with it and all of that um uh is I don't know. It just feels like a privilege somehow. I don't know. It just, and getting to share and all of that and see some of the poets they put it on Twitter first, see how it goes, and then they make the book. So you've already gotten to read, and you're just, collaborating and pulling things to, or not collating, pulling things. You've already gotten to read all their stuff and they've just put it in a book.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry. I was getting a message on Twitter and I thought maybe it was something to do with podcasting. It's not. I just disappeared. Okay, I'm going to turn that off so I can look and see what's going on. And hi. Somebody came into the chat, so I see you, lady. I'm telling you back. Hi. Yeah, so you brought poems, and I would love for you to read. Let me see what time it is. We still have more time though, so I could pick your brains and find out, I find out about your handle. Why is your handle, I can't even say wrought iron heart. Why is your handle wrought iron heart?
Okay, so
And
initially,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No.
Oh, I was going to say, you don't have to say anything you don't want to. We didn't talk about, Twitter being what it is and dirty Twitter being what it is. People do like to be anonymous. And so if I ask a question that is kind of pushes that button for you, yeah, just say, no, I'm not going to answer that. That's fine. Because we didn't talk. We should have talked. We should have been like, other than asking your name, I'm calling you M. I didn't ask you, well, can I ask about your personal life? Can I ask about your home story? Can I ask about, yeah. I said I'd talk about writing. So,
Okay.
so what's, do you mind sharing what's in your handle, why it's wrought iron heart?
Well, initially it was a heart abandoned due to the typical heartbreak persona that I was going through at the time when I made the handle. But as I got to writing more, a really good friend of mine suggested that I needed to change the name to something more appropriate to what I was writing about, and kind of at the same time, kind of pull a little bit from what I do with my life, and because I do a lot of metal work, like artwork and stuff with metal, and I weld and stuff. So that's kind of how I kind of came up with the wrought iron heart.
Do
I
you do
kept the
any
heart.
art with the metal work that you do?
Yeah, yeah, Yeah,
That is,
my big thing is I make roses. That's kind of my big thing because it's easy to sell those. But
that's cool. Have you ever made any steampunk stuff?
any type of what?
Steampunk. Do you know what steampunk is?
Oh no, I work. I know what steampunk is, but I haven't ever made anything like that.
Oh, I might give you some ideas.
Is, is
I asked because my friend, she would do some resale, at one of these little resale antique things that are really big in Washington and where I'm from. And people also will have like little booths and they will sell things they make. And
right?
one guy had been doing steampunk, but he took lamps and he did this really kind of conglomeration. And I make steampunk stuff, but I can't weld. I also am not very good with a screwdriver, a wrench. I glue everything on, but
Right.
when I get my hands on real metal pieces and being able to, I'll show you one. My son was like, "Mom, I want this," and I'm like, "I want a box. I need another box with gears that move." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't even begin to know."
Yeah.
I can only glue so much.
Right. Yeah. But
But that's neat that you make the roses. What do you color them? How do you do that? I
no.
mean,
Well,
how do you give them that rose feel?
I've painted a few of them, but most of them I just keep as raw metal. Um, I'll clear coat them so they don't rust unless I intentionally rust it. Then I'll clear coat it again so it's rusted and doesn't keep rusting. But
Do you
I,
use a solution to rust it?
yeah, yeah, there's tons of formulas you can use that'll age stuff quicker than it sitting it outside.
That is very cool. See, rusted stuff and found art kind of things. I never went and bought the solution. Well, maybe I did and I don't forgot it. But rusting things like tin boxes and whatever and putting them on, and then you do the welding and that's kind of delicate work to get if you're welding the rows together. How long does it take to make you one? How long does it take you to make one?
Um, it depends on the style that I'm making. I can make from start to finish, cutting out the metal and bending it and everything else. I can probably do one in a couple of hours.
Oh, well, a couple hours, that's a lot of focus, and you get that done, and then a couple hours for one rose, that's still a lot. Is there a size limit you have on them? Like, could you make, instead of a rose, could you make a peony
Yeah,
with bigger petals?
yeah, I can make anything.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay, I learned something new. Um, okay, so now I know that. I know your name. I know Heartbreak. Yeah, that is kind of how I ended up with my Darling ISO account is because I was 2020 was a year for me. In some ways, it was amazing, very amazing, and massively blessed. And in other ways, it was life altering and horrifying. And so I would get on at night and feel very manic and just dump poetry all over my professional account, just all kinds of stuff. And some really dark and angry and this, that, and the other thing. And I was just flooding my account every night. And I thought, oh, I got to quit this. This is not a good look for a romance writer.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
It wasn't working for me. So then I made the Lost Darling account, and I'm still over here. The poetry for me is really addictive. I don't get a ton of likes. I don't get it, but there's something about I'll wake up and I'll have two words in my head and need to put them somewhere, and then that'll go to another one, and then another one, and then I'm like, okay, one more. I'm I'm as bad with poetry as I am with M&Ms. Just one more. That's it. One more, and I'm done. So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's yeah. I just I just like to write. I try to write something, at least one thing every day. But if I don't, it's not that big a deal. And I'm kind of like you. I don't have a whole lot of. I don't get a lot of interaction off of it, except from the people that are actually in my rooms. But and then that's fine. I don't really care if I get known or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I'll never
fine.
be famous for poetry.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with just writing and going on. I'm not that attached to it anyway. So
Well, yeah. I don't feel it. I don't know. In some ways I do, in some ways I don't. I don't. If I lost it forever, it would not be the same as if I lost the book. It is. It would not. In fact, I could not tell you how many times I thought, okay, that's it. I'm going to close my account. I'm going to close my account. I'm done. I need to stop wasting time. I'm just going to close my account, and I never do. Yeah, I at least in the last year, 20 times, 20 or 30 times. I've only shut it down once and logged off, but yeah, at least 20 or 30 times. I'm going to tweet out again, and so I'm going to be silent here for a minute and awkward. I'm sorry.
okay. So I just something that I'll just kind of share. I came up with it, and I'm sure somebody's done it. It can't be that original, but I kind of had this inspiration, and I've only done it twice. But where like I get a thought for something, and I'll write it, and then I'll take like the exact last few lines from that one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll use it to start another write, and
That
then
makes sense. I've read that. This is how slow I am. I'm like, oh, that's familiar.
yeah, yeah, I've done that twice, and it's really hard to figure out how to get it to come out in order when you post it too. But,
Yeah, well, that would be a neat thing if you could, if
yeah,
Twitter
but
could.
I
And
did
an
that.
edit. And an
Yeah, I
edit.
did. Yeah, I did that where I did five of them the first time, where I just kept going from end to beginning, and then I only did it for four of them the next time. But I kind of like that whole. It's kind of a rush because I do it. I did it all at one time, and none of each one of the rights aren't really connected to the previous one. They're not the same subject on some of them or anything. It's not a continual story. It's just I just use that as like the springboard for another idea on the next right. I kind of find that kind of interesting to do.
I've kind of seen another writer do that, but he wasn't writing poetry. He was writing like short statements, and it kind of made a whole story, kind of not. Uh,
Yeah,
I, I, it all fit together for me in the final form, but I never could quite figure out because he was going back way back, really older tweets, and then he'd add something onto them, and then retweet that, and I couldn't figure out the kind of the process, but that's a cool idea. I've not ever done anything like that. I have done threads kind of every now and then. My threads don't do very well, the long stories. It depends on what it's about. If it's yeah, it depends on, but they don't always do well.
yeah.
And some people can do them though, and they get all kinds of. I don't understand, but it's okay.
If I could understand Twitter, then I probably wouldn't be on Twitter.
For me, I
It's
guess it's not the popularity contest, but I want to sometimes target audience is a big thing, and I want to know if I'm speaking to an audience, and I'm not. As a poet, not at all, very little.
yeah. Well, but see, that's the whole thing with Twitter. Like I know there are people on there that they're not really. I mean, occasionally they might throw out a poem, but for the most part, they're just kind of tossing out one or two lines that makes a statement, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can see them post, and in 10 minutes they'll have more likes than I have followers. You know, and I talk to people about that, and they say, well, they're playing with the system. They're in all these rooms, and they reply to everybody, and they just basically they're
Good
just
Lord,
pouring
Twitter is
themselves.
their job. It
Yeah,
sounds like.
it's like but I mean, you've got I get somebody with a fairly small account, and they end up you know hitting a bigger audience than I'll ever even think about hitting, because I just post, and whatever happens, but they're playing the game, I guess, and
Is
posting
that how
just
they're just all
based.
the engagement? Yeah, I'm terrible about engaging. I try to say thank you. I retweet a lot of stuff. I don't always interact with other tweets. Yeah, that might
Yeah,
be it. I don't have time for that. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. I don't care to play the game, so.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have time for that. I shouldn't be on there anyways. Okay, would you go ahead and read one of the poems you brought? Why don't you do one of the whiskey ones first?
um, okay. Um, yeah, this is gonna go really well. Me reading my
No,
stuff.
no, it's gonna be fantastic. You're doing something new tonight.
Okay, so here we go. Driving down dirt roads, doing 95, chugging on a whiskey bottle, feeling fine. Devil's hanging out the window on the other side, knocking down mailboxes every time. Jesus in the back seat, hanging on for dear life. He's singing hallelujahs as Highway to Hell blasts across the line. That's it.
A good one. No, I like it. I like it. I that one's he's singing "Highway to Hell" across the. That's why I like that one. I like the ending. Um, uh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead next.
Um, okay, so let me see this. Okay. Staring out the window, watch the rain cry on the window. Lightning illuminates the darkness, flashes of clarity. The glow of my cigarette in the glass reflects different shades of gray in the face I no longer recognize. Birds in the darkness sing to the rain as I slowly fade away. That's it.
They're all Twitter linked. How hard is it to keep within the Twitter links? Do you have it? Do you ever fight with
Um,
that? Do you ever
I
want to?
um I almost everything that I write uses every character, and sometimes I have to cut stuff to make it fit. Um, I kind of cheated on a couple of them because I had gotten into this rhythm uh, when I was writing. I'd gotten into this rhythm, but I've discovered that like every time that I would write, the last two lines would not fit, and I didn't want to start a second page because everybody tells me if you go to a second page, you're dead. Nobody reads it or catches it half the time. So what I did is I cheated basically, and I downloaded an app where I could write it onto a page, and then
Uh
I
huh.
just posted the page
Oh, I've
instead of.
done that. Yeah, sometimes it's just those two words, and you gotta have them.
I know, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but most of them I just make them fit one way or another.
Yeah, well, yeah, you take off, you shorten your and you use an ampersand and you use a
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
cut out any kind of extra thes and these, and sometimes it's not exactly, yeah, I know, or all commas and periods gone. And
right, right, exactly. Yeah.
Which kind of takes you might maybe ruin your rhythm, but and people on Twitter, every writer has the same problem sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you read the sensual one, and is the next one? And did you bring that one?
Yes, I brought one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. His kisses melt her as she gives in. The banter, the pleasure, the seduction begins. She becomes breathless. Strong hands take hold, moving her easily, her resistance to fold. She begins to whisper, her body now his toy, his appetite for destruction, and she's begging to be destroyed. That's it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you for bringing your poems. Did you bring more? I would let you read more. I'm enjoying it. But you're like, no, please.
Okay, right.
I had 20 and you said these would be good.
Yeah, there's two more. I sent you two more. I can read those if you want. Yes.
Would you please go ahead and read those?
Sure. Okay. Still, fading, lost in all the reckless things I do, wondering where I went without you, merging restless souls on ocean's tides, drifting with the sand back to the darkness. I can feel myself growing colder, eyes heavy as I'm twisting slowly into an empty thought of you. That's all of that one.
That's a good one too. You're getting more comfortable. You're reading more slow. When you're nervous, everybody does it.
Read fast, yes.
Yeah, they want to get done, and they don't. They're trying to get done and whatever. And I've done it too. I've read whole chapters really fast. I thought I was building tension, but the person whose chapter I read, they're like, yeah, do you have to go? You're kind of missing it. Do you have to go so fast? Now I probably read too slow. No, you're doing a great job. Look, you haven't stumbled anything. You haven't, you're you're doing better than you think.
Okay, so this is the last one that I sent you. It's a sexual one, so.
It's a smutty one that are so easy to write for you, Karen.
Smutty.
It's okay, smutty. I never write smutty poetry. I'm writing about vacuum cleaners. Anyways, go on.
Right. Yes, you write really well about vacuum cleaners too. Okay. She met him at the door, naked, on her knees. She had blindfolded herself, waiting. Sees her in anticipation, glistening as it trickles down her thigh. Her breath shallow as he steps near, lips parting in anticipation. Her pride that she was skilled at being his vessel, wanting to be filled. That's all of that one.
I like that. That was beautiful. No, your smut is still pretty. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's a little raun, but that blend of the raunchy and the romantic is really cool. Look, you're getting clapped, and she's like, absolutely, and wow, so powerful, and that in the chat, lady is like, yes, it's good stuff. You're like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, now I'm just embarrassed. So
Why? Why would you be embarrassed? Don't be.
I don't know. I never really think about anybody reading it, really. So
Oh, I
and
would
now
never
like, I'm
say
seeing
I had
something.
that problem. Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to read any of my books, so just so you know. Oh, Tom. Hey, Tom. How are you? Links in oh. She's asking where we are on Twitter, and so I'm answering that question, trying to answer that question. We're on Twitter, and I was trying to give you his handle, which is a Heart Abandoned One, and then you can look up Wrought Iron and Wrought. What is it? Wrought Iron.
Heart. Wrought Iron Heart.
Wrought Iron Heart, and Heart Abandoned One, and yeah, I'm like I'm all over the place. My mom is texting me from another room. She's like, "What are you doing?" I should have told her that I was live streaming. She's what are you doing? At least she's not up on the stairs yelling at me or anything.
That was a classic.
Yeah. Oh no, don't. Come on. Let's see. I'm looking for. There's your name. Why didn't that? Oh, I tweeted it out wrong, and so it didn't highlight you on that one. I have 9 questions. Damn it, Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Bring me a sandwich, right? Which is even funnier because I started podcasting with my kids' microphone, and they were just as bad. Mom! And yeah.
That's funny.
Well, they knew how to set up everything, and my boys did, and then I used to have to put a sign outside the door. So when are you going to finish my song? It's not my song.
Yeah, we need to finish that.
I don't know if the guy who did the beat, if he's going to actually make one, but wouldn't that be awesome? I said, could you just lay down a blues beat, just something? And so I sent, you saw me post the other one so that you would get kind of a feel. The reason it sounds like that is because I'm listening to, I could not find any copyright-free music that I liked, so I couldn't record it. So I'm listening to it on the headphones and then singing your words along to the copyright, because I can't read music. You can't do anything. I'm just, faking it the whole way. And it kind of, some of it was like, what is she doing? I could just imagine. But
when you did that, that's probably the happiest I've been, and I can't tell you how long. And
I'm sorry. We need to get you some happy now.
I was like literally trying to think of anybody I could tell that you had done that.
This lady on Twitter, who would I tell?
I know, it's like this is so cool. She turned one of my poems into a song.
That's funny. No, don't. I wish I was a better. I love to sing, but I'm not. I cannot carry. I have no ear for so much. There's so much to that. Yeah. Anyway, so you need to work on that. And the other thing, who are you going to invite to come on my podcast and read poetry? You're in the DRM rooms that I'm not allowed in. So just to invite everybody.
Okay, yeah, I will. I'll try to recruit you some bodies.
Yeah, I need you to recruit. Tom, are you? I don't want to end yet. I kind of started late, and I was this, that, and the other thing. If you want to come on and read something, Tom is overseas, and are you still? I don't know where he is now. Tom's a friend, and he recruits. Oh, you like the poetry? Tom, come on and read some poetry. I'm not reading any of mine today, so he probably can't. He might be at work. More poetry, please. You could go to your feed and read one. Can you get on your feed where you are?
Yeah, I could.
Could you?
What kind would you like? I guess is more the question.
What kind would I like? I don't know. You can pick. Actually, you could just go and read some. Go down your feed and read, any that you thought were halfway.
Now, don't tell me find ones that I think are halfway decent because then I'll never look at any of them.
Nobody ever thinks they're good. They are good. Look, Lady likes them, and she's just, come and Get Suckage 999 likes it. So come on, just keep reading. I cannot tell you how much I have wanted since I found Poetry Twitter. I've a year ago, I was just plopping other people's poetry off of there and reading it because I was just really, I'm very serious when I say I feel like it's a treasure trove of words. So don't be, perfection is not a thing. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. We're all humans. So.
Okay, I'll find something. Let's see. There we go. Okay, this one's a smutty one. I'll just put that right out there so everybody knows. But it's a pretty mellow one. But anyways, here we go. The sting along her skin, where her panties used to be, slowly bringing her favorite red to the surface. She glances back to see his face, lost in admiration of her curves. A tingle in her belly as a whimsical smile crosses his lips. His pleasure gained as his hand smacks her ass again. That's it.
Well, that you said that as Tom and I wrote one together for Indulgent Designs, and if he wanted to read that one with me, that's still in my you can still log into that, could you? Yes, Romance and Love, and it actually has a spanking in it, but it's a loving spanking. It is. It's
always a loving spanking.
Yeah, it's always a loving spanking. Tom, do you want to read that one? Can you get into your you have to send me the link, but yes, you could do that. I will do that. So I'm going to let you come on in, Tom. I'm going to send you an invite. Have you got your earbuds on or any of that? And then back up here, I think you might be, there was a comment that I like your dude even, I think he's in the drop-in room with you, or you share. I'm not sure. You got to type your sentence again. I think it's got a typo. I'll send you the link, Tom. Do you have your headphones in? And then I can just add you. I'm so glad you came on today. I know that it was quite a rigmarole, getting the right headphones, and then they didn't work. And so guess what? I have an announcement. You can use your phone when you podcast with me, but headphones work better because I can hear an echo, but you can't hear it, and that would drive you nuts. So, okay, Tom, I'm inviting you. So Tom is out in Norway. It says and there he is.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I just feel like I should give you a big giant hug.
I mean, I would never say no to a hug. Hi, everyone. All right, let's start with a tragic fact, okay?
Okay.
I haven't had a hug since December 19.
December 19.
From anybody.
Oh, Tom, and I whine about it so much, not having hugs.
I don't think I've even shaken a hand since about March last year. I've forgotten what people feel like.
Oh, no.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You forgot. How does that work with you and Tink? Do you like, oh, I cannot. I bet that's just this. I can't even imagine.
I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point.
Well, I know. So Tink is your girl, and you can't even hug her. You haven't even had. I mean,
she's 15
that's
miles
a whole
away.
nother level of separation.
I mean, it's August the 11th will be our 1 year anniversary, and the plan is for me to be there with her for that. So,
that is that. Well, I hope so. August. Okay. So where is she now? Is she in the UK?
well, she's in Ireland.
Oh, she's in Ireland. Are they on lockdown?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently. But the UK and Ireland, pretty much all of the UK and Ireland is planning to be out of lockdown by the end of this month, so long as nothing else tragic happens.
Nothing else tragic happens. Okay, I am sending you the link. I sent you the link to your, and I actually, everybody, I don't know if you'd be able to get it. Are the links, I don't think the links click in they don't, do they? I put things in, but if you wanted to know where it is, it's in my Google Drive and you could look at it. There it is.
Fine, I've got it. I was thinking about this literally just the other day.
Yeah, we did that. You put together the audio, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. The audio is ready to go. Yeah.
We should. I should put it on a YouTube or something. Or actually, I should just put it on here, and just load the audio up that way. I think you sent it to me, and I listened to it, and it was good. Yeah, I was like, do I have that audio? Am I going to have to ask him for it after you probably gave it to me 3 times?
I mean, I do the same thing.
But we could put it
track of where we save things.
Oh, so bad. Em's being all quiet now. Okay. I can still hear myself though speaking back, so I know you're there. We're gonna. This one is. I don't think we named it. It's just spanking with Tom and I. So it's like dinner with Tom and I. So shopping, internet shopping with Tom and I. So this happens to be spanking with Tom and I.
Just scrolling through it now, though. If I say so myself, it's kind of epic.
It is really epic. Yeah, this poem, I'm just to warn the listeners, this poem is probably going to be at least 10 minutes to read, maybe 5, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. How long was the audio? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was close to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 5 or 10 minutes. So just so you know, so buckle in and, hold on tight because, yeah. Okay. Do I have to say the name again? Spanking with Tom and ISO.
Yeah. Chat.
That ruins it. I got to get in the mood. I got to get in character.
People in chat can think about a title for this poem because we never thought of one.
Yeah. Okay. Here you go. Here's your first collaboration with me, or your second, actually, because I did sing your music. You can help us come up with a decent title because, yeah. Okay. He caught me standing in front of the mirror, murmuring frustrations, repeating negative incantations. He saw me, my face, my eyes, my story, watched me whisper my despise. Not tall enough, not thin enough, not shapely enough, not young enough, not right enough, never right enough. With the brush through my hair, each stroke, each line of the old and heavy yoke that I was sure I would always wear.
I am a silent observer for just a moment of utterances cruel, of tear-streaked countenance. She stands lost in reflection, her tongue dripping with hate, tearing, stripping back layers of beauty that she simply cannot see. With every word, the ache in my heart grows. How can a creature so divine be so vicious towards herself? I step forwards into the light. I can be silent no longer.
I gasp at the sound of his step, his presence intense and looming. A breath escapes as my face pales. I've been caught in my transgression. If you can't see what I see, he says low, dark, warming, I must give you correction. You have conceded this role given to me to train. Your grace, your vital, your glow, your glory. Together we will find the divine in your story.
My arms encircle her waist, My chin rests upon her shoulder. She trembles at my power and shudders when I growl. Rule number 1 is above all others. You know its importance, for you are mine, my most precious possession, center of my universe, my perpetual obsession. Now you forget your beauty, grace, and worth. Now I will remind you with marks and bruises, painted reminders of my unbreakable love.
I have consented, his dear direction, and the lonely, unwanted thing hiding inside of me releases. A warm, easing feeling, reorienting my anxiety. In poignant contrast to his following through, heart-swelling delight while my skin tightens in dread, for I am not abandoned to my ugly loathing, constant comparison lurking malevolent in my head. I am taken in reprimand, commanded to take position, head down, presenting, where he will enforce his right and his will. In my cathartic pain and begging, the reprisal of condemning is owned, the price careless words and thoughts professing.
She bows over the bed, the altar of our love. I place a hand on her back, a quiver, a sigh. She places herself once more into my care, head stooping low, posterior raised high, skirt lifted up, silky fabric dragged down over intoxicating curves, soft, unmarked skin revealed. This will be my canvas, where I will paint indelible reminders of her value, stinging mementos from the hands that hold her so dear, so close. The hands which caress so soft and wipe away tears, now to be the instrument of my adoring castigation.
He explains the equation once more. How many? And all the expectations. His words calm, concise, and measured. This will hurt, break skin, bruise flesh, and press deep and hard into my wounded consciousness. And oh, my wanting, my weeping, my overcome needing. I'm contrasts, bold into shaking, agreeing, trusting into this soul marking, stinging. No mercy in each blow. I'll count each round ragged as he bleeds me, takes me, leads me, shatters the self that I was, and reshapes me sacred as his own.
My love is violent, my passion fierce, each blow percussive, shaking the foundations of the prison she has constructed within. The walls that hide her true self, her ethereal beauty, visible to all but herself. I will release this incarcerated angel to soar once more upon wings given flight by my savage hand and my loving words. Sweet honey dripping, affirmations of worthiness like balm upon fresh cuts and open wounds, tearing down her misguided self-loathing.
I count each lash and each blow. 10, 15, 20 more. My body grieves, but my mind struggles. The skin burns, it stings, and I am lit up into heat, becoming a groaning, steaming conflagration, flushed to a place where my thoughts finally twist open. Flames rush in, race wild from my head down to my spine. He says, I know what I see. I know who you are. Do you think I love ugly? I love hollow. I love trash. You are shine. You are beauty and blessing. But most of all, this one thing you know, that I will see you. I know you, and yes, I own you. I take you, keep you, claim you. I want you. You are mine. And those words, he says, as my skin pinkens, ripens into blue. Those words are obliteration, shaking down, destroying my self-recrimination.
She doesn't see what I see, but I will make her feel it. Every lash, every stroke, every palm print, driving home my message of adoration and acceptance. As pink turns to red, turns to blue, the angel in my care breaks, piece by fragile piece, into pebbles of light free from the gloom of her savage self-judgment. And now I must rebuild. From the rubble of a broken soul she is made anew, with gentle hands caressing bruised body, extending to dark, wet places, seeking the core of her pleasure, where I will fill her with my love.
After the pain and the wrecking, the hands and the words, my reshaping, a kiss of bliss on every mark. And as the weeping recedes, tide after tide, I am washed clean, his intention meeting mine. No longer adrift, caught up in mirrors, memories, and comparisons. As fabric slides and his warm divine comes close enough to touch my devastation, and I feel every light tap, every brush of his eyelash, every intimate scrape of his beard, cheek, and chin, the delicate tracing of aroused trappings, the taunting filling of my exceedingly empty, plunging in, uproarious possession. Pain and bliss collide, transformed into panting. He gives a new stroke, wet, deep, demanding, painting me new and beautiful.
With trembling, screaming, gasping pleasure we are one. I have taken, claimed, marked that which is mine. I have given, consoled, broken and repaired. She is enveloped in a loving embrace, covered with kisses, shrouded in arms and hands that stroke dark bruises, applying healing to hurt, mending shattered heart. Her ruined body nestles, exhausted, intimate breathing, bodies tessellate. Bathed in the quiet, the brutal consequences of our union, violent reactions born of grievous castigation must now be soothed and subdued. Angry contusions cry for relief as I scoop her up into strong arms. The warmth of the shower beckons, the softness of the sponge, as loving application of restorative attention elicits her grateful sigh. My nakedness presses against hers, arms encircling lips upon neck, while warm water rinses away the grime of her pain.
I am crying into splendor, pieces reworked in acceptance, pleasure leaking from ecstasies is missions, washed clean of my own self-accusations. I want to be the creature of his dreams, the one that satisfies, that completes. We are a perfect, shining circle of brilliance, of honesty and emotion, caresses of convergence, roughly redirected, rawly taken, tenderly washed, served, observed. From shower to embraces, needs administered, medication, slow, sensual words and reassurances, broken apart 100 ways and after, completely cared for. Mind, body, spirit, put back together in this wonder of relationship where we have agreed.
Look into my eyes, little one. Show me the tear-stained windows of your soul. I have seen your pain today. I know your scars. I memorized each one. And I have taken them from you, and I will keep them locked away in my heart. I see the beauty hidden to you, and reveal it through my firm hand. No more hatred. No more fear. Lift that chin up. I'm proud of you. My perfect. My love. Mine.
That was really good. I gotta unmute. You were making all this noise. I muted you. I'm sorry. Yeah, are you unmuted? Can you hear me, Lost Soul? No, I can't hear him. Are you there?
Me?
Yes, you. You were moving around, so I muted you because it was getting amplified, and it would be on the replay. I don't know. I got to learn how to turn up guests. Thank you so much. Yeah, Tom could do this professionally, couldn't he?
Yeah,
He loves to read. Yeah, he just read that off. That, I mean, we haven't touched that for months. So, and I'm like, how do you say that word? Tom,
nice to read that.
Yeah, did you like that? I'm gonna give you some stuff. I need you to come on and read more.
I forgot how proud I was of that piece, if I'm honest.
Really?
I mean, it took us at least 2 weeks to write, to be fair.
It did, and we messed with it.
Yeah, it was a collaborative writing effort between Isa and myself.
And I'm thinking, wow, I could edit this out and edit that. But it tells a great story. It's got the whole flow, and it was, and it would never make it on Twitter. It'd be lost. Mm-hmm. So what should we name it? What do you think? What should we name it?
We need a name.
Somebody give it a name. The spanking porn by Tom Nexo.
Oh, God. How to ruin a piece in 3 seconds.
I'm sorry. No.
Playing the booty bongos.
Come on, you two gentlemen. Give me an answer. A heart abandoned. What do you think? You're the creative one. You.
No.
Is that a name? Is that a name suggested in chat? Dear God,
no. We got that twice. We got 2. No.
Let's call it "Dear God, make it stop."
Dear God, make it stop. Oh yeah. I love the premise, especially the aftercare. Too little attention given to that, and how natural it is. Yeah, that was Tom. Tom's all. He's all.
As somebody who's primarily written BDSM related stuff for the last 2 years, it's a really important aspect that gets ignored in a lot of fiction and poetry and all kinds of things. So, yeah, it's close to my heart.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that in there. I'm glad we got the whole progression. You know, we couldn't have got that in a tweet, right?
No. Nothing beats the sensation of live theater, my darling.
Live theater. Oh gosh, what else should we do? I think I'm gonna we've gone almost an hour and a half now, and I do have some editing at the beginning, so I think we got an hour show in here. So, but I am gonna take that one that we did together, and I'm gonna put it on the podcast. I think maybe I'll put it on the one Ben read. Oh no, Ben's gonna do that. Ben read one for me that I wrote, and I can't give you his work. I got to give you each your own work. I don't have time. I'm just gonna have to find stuff somewhere else. But thank you so much, Ladies Accident. Is that what that is, or is it Ladies Snackcident? Tom is on Twitter. I will get you his link. He's on G Twitter. If you're not on Dirty Twitter and you follow all of us, I'm sorry.
Be careful. You might want to make a new account to follow us.
Yeah, you might. We do tend to, retweet and then our own stuff. I'm really writing about vacuum cleaners most of the time, so I'm fine. But these two,
I just want to say, Lady Snacksident is possibly one of the best names I've heard in a while.
Is that what it is? Lady Snacks in it?
I think that's how it's supposed to be said. Yeah.
A lady. I can't read. Lady Snacksident.
Because she a snack, but it's all intentional.
Yeah, you totally get that. I'm so slow on the uptake.
Oh, so we should hang more often. I needed a laugh tonight before I go to bed.
Did you? Oh yeah. I'm just such a goober. Heart Abandoned, thank you so much for being brave and coming on and having a conversation with me about what inspires you and your journey of becoming a Twitter poet.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
It's wonderful. I mean, it is, it's something new. You've never done it before, and you stepped out, and that is really awesome. Maybe some of the other poets who read to this will take a chance on me. I'm kind, I promise. And come on and read. I love it. I want to do more. In fact, I posted it as a summer series. So, Tom, yeah, I'm doing a summer series. You need to write some poems. Short stories, some prose. It's a summer series all summer long, and come on and read. I've just given you a reason.
All right. Are we talking dirty stuff or not dirty stuff?
Oh, you could do either or. You can do whatever inspires you. Whatever you want to read, you're welcome to read. I just would rather it not be the erotic audio that's first person, I'd rather it be you, she, or I, me, or whatever, but not the hello, you're not the acted out scene.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to hit my music and we're going to go out, and I'm going to thank you for following, everybody. Ladies in Accident. I'm going to hit the music, and we'll try and then I'm going to wax poetic about the importance of words, and you know the drill. So where's my music? Oh, I lost it. Oh, there it is. Gosh, new interface. I can't deal with it. That's interesting. I just want to thank Heart Abandoned 1, M, and for coming on. It's, when you just write for fun. You're like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to go on this podcast and talk to this crazy lady and share my work when I'm just doing it really for me? I'm going to turn the music down so I can do my waxing. One reason is because you're encouraging other people to step out and I think that even though we read, sensual stuff, and Tom might come back and read something really naughty, or maybe he'll read some speculative fiction or some other kind of poetry. I don't know, about leaving Norway, about I'm flying on a jet plane. I don't know, but those words have power, and we can even. I've never had a spanking like that in my life, but I was feeling those words, that story of that self-loathing, and the connection of the couple, and the punishment, and then the aftercare, and the punishment, the pleasure, and the aftercare. I was, I couldn't have made that without Tom, and he gave me a perspective that helped me, help us work together, and we crafted it, and it was a kind of communication that helped me understand things that I didn't know. And that's kind of what, even though you're smutty poetry, there's no, not everybody's going to buy your words, but the attempt at making words, there's nothing wrong with that. There's something, and sharing them and putting them out there. You never know. You might say, in a tweet, I'm sad, and get 500 likes because everybody's sad. And you've communicated. So, that's just me saying, be brave, step out, Write your words, share them. You're communicating, you're speaking, you're creating community, you're creating humanity. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.